Thank you for tuning in to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama, produced by Balance Enterprise LLC in association with www.lasvegasnevadadui.com. Today's topic, white woman sues over affirmative action in the Supreme Court. All right, thank you for tuning in. This particular case involves a white young lady, age 23 years old, named Abigail Fisher, suing the University of Texas. Before we get into the facts of this case and discussion, I want to say they chose her. She didn't choose to sue. They chose her. They could not have picked a worse failure of a person. She is an utter failure all around as a student, all around. It's not a case. This isn't a good case. It would have been better to get somebody else. Okay, let's get into it. So from Gawker, I like the way they put things. Life is tough for white people in America. A few hundred years of presumed superiority have left many of them psychologically unable to deal with failure, trapped in a cycle of victimhood where their own shortcomings can only be understood as evidence of persecuting against them. So we have Abigail Fisher, 23 years old, and the plaintiff in Fisher versus University of Texas, which is currently being weighed by the Supreme Court. Fisher, who is white, is suing the university because the full-time crusaders against affirmative action asked her to. But her ostensible complaint is that she applied to go to the University of Texas at Austin, but didn't get in, while some students who are not white did get in under the university's system of weighing personal circumstances, including poverty and race, in some of its admissions. Ergo, under the logic of anti-reverse racism, some undeserving minority student took her spot. But when we get down to it, we're going to see that that wasn't the case at all. But this week, ProPublica published a look into the actual circumstances surrounding university. They actually did some analysis of the actual facts in the case, the actual analysis of University of Texas, and a very in-depth analysis of Abigail Fisher. In response to earlier restrictions on affirmative action, Texas was already using a system under which, before it considered anyone's personal circumstances, any student in the top 10% of his or her high school class was automatically admitted. That includes black people. 92% of the slots at Austin were given out that way. So 92% of the students were automatically, slots were automatically already filled by the top 10% students, right? Fisher didn't get one of those spots. That means at least 10% of the students in her own high school had performed better than her. Yet, even for those, ProPublica reports, Fisher and her backer, Edward Blum, can't say she was cheated because of her race. Why? Because we're going to go look into the racial category of this. University officials claim in court filing that even if Fisher received points for her race and every other personal achievement factor, the letter she received in the mail would still have said no. It's true that the university, for whatever reason, offered provisional admission to some students with lower test scores and grades than Fisher. 5 of those students were black or Latino. So it's not, all 5 weren't black. 42 were white. So we're talking about 5 spots, right? This is what's really up for grabs. If she's trying to sue for affirmative action for race, We're talking about 5 spots out of probably 1,000. And these are the 5 bottom spots. But hold on to your horses, cowboys and cowgirls. It gets even worse. Neither Fisher nor Blum mentioned those 42 applicants in interviews. 42 were white, remember? Nor did they acknowledge that 168 black and Latino students with grades as good or better than Fisher's, who were also denied entry into the university that year. 168 black and Latinos were denied, who had better grades than she did. Also left unsaid is the fact that Fisher turned down a standard UT offer under which she could have gone to the universe her sophomore year if she earned a 3.2 GPA at another Texas university school in her freshman year. She is a total and absolute failure. The vast majority, 90% of the people that benefit from affirmative action are white women. So who is she really trying to sue? What are they really trying to do? Do they want to really get rid of affirmative action? Or is this somehow to beat up black people once again? Remember, it was 5 spots, and those 5 spots weren't even taken by black people. It was black or Latino. Latino, which happens to be white. It is so probably she's suing over one black student. Get him out of there. She didn't qualify. She's unqualified. She is an utter failure. The Supreme Court denied the claim and kicked it down to the lower court. They heard the case, denied the claim, and kicked it down to the lower court. That is affirmative action today, and that is the Fisher versus University of Texas analysis in a nutshell. When you see on the news they talk about affirmative action, who do they put up? A black face. Affirmative action does not help black people. It doesn't even concern black people. And affirmative action only applies to governmental schools or businesses. Regular private schools and regular private businesses do not have to adhere to affirmative action whatsoever. So when people say affirmative action is all over the place and it's taking our jobs, wrong. It's an absolute lie. Black people are not taking white people's jobs in any place. White women, you want to take out affirmative? You really want to talk about black people? Take women as a category off of affirmative action, off as a minority status. It's ridiculous to begin with. Women are not a minority. 52% of all college entrants are female. 50% of and growing of all of jobs are female. The growing labor pool section in this down economy is female. Females are not a minority. Men are very quickly becoming a minority. Get it out of your head. Stop listening to racists. Stop listening to people who are just trying to sell you news. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Turn off the channel. Turn it off. All right. I want to present to you real, hard-hitting facts and what's really going on in the news. All right. Thank you for tuning in to the Shakaama Live Show. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video. This information needs to get out. Thank you for watching Shakaama Live.